Visit BigMEvent.com. Now, here's Paul W. Smith.
Driving advanced manufacturing forward in today's competitive world, being able to adjust quickly plays a vital role to your company's survival. Custom manufacturing, the ability to transfer science, technology quickly can help keep you stay ahead of the competition. But how do these pieces fit together? Well, they fit together with advanced manufacturing. And any of our guests today could help you better understand how advanced manufacturing works and how you can make it work for you. Joining us, Nigel Francis, Senior Vice President of the Automotive Office of the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, MEDC. Nigel, always a pleasure to see you.
Good morning, Paul.
Martin Kinsella is here, Director of Advanced Materials and Process Technologies at COMAU. And certainly always good to see you, Martin.
Good morning, Paul. Thank you for the invite.
And Dr. Barron, President and CEO of the Center for Automotive Research, or CAR. We spend so much time together, and especially at Traverse City. Nice to be with you here in our studio.
Thank you, Paul. It's nice to see you here as well.
If you'd like to join in the conversation, you can by sending the panel your question on the form below the webcast screen. You're watching on the webcast on the website of www.bigmevent.com. And by the way, at that same website, we want you to enter the promo code BIGMWJR online for free registration to the exhibits, including Innovation Factories, Tuesday's Keynote, the M-Exchange presentations, and the networking reception on Wednesday. This promo code is valid for 24 hours only, so if you're thinking about it, don't just think about it, do it. You're on the website now. Enter the promo code BIGMWJR online for your free registration for all of those great events. Gentlemen, nice to have you with us. Now, who handed this out initially as walking in? I think...
Myself, mine.
All right, Martin, I said to you, and I meant this, I don't know if you can see it on camera very clearly, I promise you I have never had one of these before in my life. And gentlemen, I think you would agree, because you all were recipients. What did we receive that we like so much here?
You received a model of a robot, COMAU robot, which we, let's say, 6-axis robot. It's life size in terms of scale. Okay, the capabilities are anything from between 6 kilograms up to 800 kilograms, and computer controlled, RobCAD simulated, etc. So that's let's say, a promotional tool. But also functional, because then, let's say, children that can then understand how the robots move and interact with different things.
Will it do some of my chores at home, I guess, is what I'm really concerned about.
Not at the moment.
Not yet. All right. So, well, just wondering.
Not today.
It is a part, but it's coming. It is a part of advanced manufacturing. And I want each of you to take a stab at how we best define advanced manufacturing. It's defined differently in certain sectors of the manufacturing industry, I'm sure, but give us, each of you, your definition. And I'm going to start with you, Nigel.
Well, I think manufacturing has changed very dramatically during my lifetime. 30 years worth of experience in automotive. Today, advanced manufacturing to me embodies mechatronics, software, and a certain concurrence and collaboration between science and technology, which enables things like this wonderful robot, which is the future of manufacturing.
It indeed is the future of manufacturing. And then I'll go to you, Dr. Barron.
I agree with Nigel. I look at the changes of manufacturing over the last couple of decades, and it's an enormous transformation. And what we see today, of course, and I think of the shuns. This is, it's information rich. It's automation, a lot of automation enablers like these robots. There's integration of the supply chain and engineering and manufacturing, and it's just a very rich environment, and it moves much faster than it ever used to. So it's a very comprehensive perspective when you look at advanced manufacturing, and it's much different than it used to be. So again, it's agility, and it's moving fast, and there's a lot of different disciplines that really come into play.
And Martin, you have with COMAU 40 years of experience in advanced manufacturing systems, representing a proven worldwide leader in sustainable automation and service solutions with a forward focus. Now, when looking at innovation in the industry today, what are some of the new processes and new technologies that are available to manufacturers?
Well, the modern world now is let's say a virtual world, whereas many years ago it was let's say line drawings and manual drawings. Now there's a 3D CAD environment where we recreate the whole process in a virtual world prior to going to manufacture. So that enables direct simulation of the actual processes, so you can work in a CAD environment to ensure that everything's processed correctly and in a robust solution prior to manufacturing. So that ensures right first time. It also ensures the fact that the interaction of the different equipment and different machines and processes, and it doesn't matter whether it's automotive, aerospace, or whatever the actual industry is, it's a 3D environment world that's kind of moving forward in a very fast-paced, flexible approach to the future.
Dr. J. Barron, President and CEO of CAR, the Center for Automotive Research, a nonprofit organization focused on a wide variety of important trends and changes related to the automobile industry and society at the international, federal, state, and local levels. You've used the phrase missing middle to describe what is lacking in manufacturing today. What is the missing middle?
Paul, this is one of the challenges that our industry has is getting the right skill sets and talent levels into this industry. And as this industry has transformed to a more high-tech perspective, with all of this innovation going on, with all this introduction of automation, engineering, and so on, it's become a high-tech industry. And this is often not recognized by those that are outside the industry, just how high-tech it is. And when we look at these factories, you can't go into these factories without a certain degree of knowledge and training and background like we used to be able to perhaps 30, 40, 50 years ago. So the missing middle really refers to a common issue that we have heard from a number of auto facilities around North America, which is, we can get unskilled workers, but we really have a very limited need for that skill, for that lack of skill. The idea of bringing in an unskilled worker in these factories is just becoming a foreign issue. We clearly have well-established pipelines for engineering. We may have shortages of that, but the pipelines are there through academia. But the missing middle is in between those two extremes, and that really would apply to people with the aptitude, the skill set, the motivation, the interest to become manufacturing technicians, people that help run the factories, people that program the PLC controllers on the factory floors. When a robot breaks or something happens, somebody who knows how to fix that. So it's a certain skill level that we have lost the pipeline to that missing middle that some other regions have better established, and clearly in Europe, and the German pipeline is much better, much stronger there than we have here, and it's a major issue that's holding back the furthering growth of this industry.
By the way, though I may direct a question to one of you specifically, you're all welcome to join in. And Nigel, you I can see want to join in on this.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul. And I'd like to add some more colour from the state level to what Jay has just described. I think firstly, it's well recognised by the state that there is this missing middle, and indeed we've very recently commissioned a study that we hope will be available towards the end of the year, maybe in the early new year, because there's a lot of work to be done to look at the automotive industry in the state of Michigan and quantify that missing middle so that we know exactly what we will need in the future in terms of skill level at that technician level. Once we've quantified that, we can then work together with academia to ensure that we're training the right talent for the future. Further to that, there's already been some great work that's been done in the state here. We have a program which is called MAT Squared, Michigan Advanced Technician Training, and I'd encourage people that come to the Big M to come and find the Michigan Economic Development Corporation booth, find out about MAT Squared. It's there, and it's part of filling that missing middle.
The Big M Manufacturing Convergence, BigMEvent.com, June 9th through the 12th this year at COMAU Center. And we would love for you to join us, obviously. You're on the website now, so enter the promo code BigMWJR. That's the promo code BigMWJR online right now for free registration to the exhibits, including Innovation Factories, Tuesday's keynote, the M Exchange presentations, and the networking reception on Wednesday. This promo code is valid for 24 hours only, so do it now. Enter the promo code right where you are on this website at Big MWJR, Big MWJR, and take advantage of the freebies. You know, Nigel, with what you're saying, it dovetails nicely with what the governor has said, Governor Rick Snyder, with his mandate, if you will, quote, to implement and execute a comprehensive strategic plan to drive Michigan's automotive industry forward, to remain as the global center of the automotive industry, and to foster sustainable growth within the industry in Michigan. And this is one of the reasons why the Big M is such a big deal for the MEDC.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the state of Michigan is the centre of the automotive industry. We're number one for vehicle production, number one for parts and components manufacturing, number one for powertrain, a number of other number ones we enjoy due to the hard work of the men and women in the state in the industry. Okay, so the Big M. It's a wonderful opportunity for everybody to come together in the manufacturing industry, certainly in automotive, which I'm keenly focused on. However, there's a huge amount of cross-fertilization between industries, so we would hope that there'll be automotive people for sure at the Big M here in the Motor City, but also aerospace, consumer goods, and medical. And there's a lot of cross-fertilization of technologies in manufacturing and product development across those industries. So the convergence of those industries at the Big M is very important, and we're very lucky to have this at the COMAU Center here in Detroit.
And collaboration is very important in advancing manufacturing today. Tell me a little bit about how you see, even, for example, the three of you working more closely together.
Well, that's something that has developed over the years, in particular last number of months, Paul, because here at COMAU with the MEDC and with Jay at Paul at CAR, we're working closely in terms of developing the future, looking towards new manufacturing and engineering processes, and in particular picking up Nigel's point about the MEDC. We're investing in the future in terms of with local academia, with high schools, with the younger generation, because to take Jay's point is actually encourage them back into manufacturing and engineering, because there's been a lapse over the last 20 to 30 years where engineering and manufacturing has not been seen as exciting or innovative for a long-term career, whereas we're trying to push that back into the younger generations and encourage them back into engineering.
And Paul, I'd like to add, the auto industry is the largest manufacturing industry in the world. In North America, Detroit is the capital of that industry. And we look at the R&D that is done in this region, it is second to none in the world in terms, we have over 360 technical R&D centers that support the auto industry. And if you couple that with the fact that we are in a transformation phase with new technology coming into the industry, we're looking at these very aggressive regulations around fuel economy requirements, trying to reduce these cars' emissions, trying to make the factories greener. There's an enormous amount of pressure to introduce innovation into this industry faster than what it has ever done before, which is really creating the opportunity and the need to get this industry developing these new technologies and rolling them out.
Yeah, and there's an importance of this, I think, that innovation comes in many, many ways, but an idea is not sufficient. It's not sufficient. You have to have the idea, and then you have to be able to realize that idea. And in an environment like you have here within the state of Michigan, and particularly in southeast Michigan, you can go to a coffee shop and be sat next to the ideas person, and you might be the person that can realize it, and then you go to dinner that evening and you're sat next to the money guy that can put the money behind it to actually make it happen. We've got this wonderful ecosystem here, and the Big M will bring in the state of Michigan, the Big M will bring together all of those stakeholders, which will then go out into the Great Lakes region. And of course, because many of those companies are truly global organizations, there's global outreach that comes from this, and so the realization of the innovation is what will take the industry forward, and we're well placed here to realize those innovations.
Which is why it's so important that we get you to be there with us at the Big M Manufacturing Convergence. And go to bigmevent.com for more of the information. It is June 9th through the 12th at COMAU Center. But not just there at COMAU Center. You're going to be spending a lot of time connecting with other people and working together, networking. I sometimes hesitate to use the word, it's been used so much, but the reality is there'll be networking here. And as I understand it, Martin, COMAU is having a plant tour of their Innovation Center as a part of the Big M event on Monday, June 9th. Tell us about that.
Well, what we thought, we working with the people at the event, was to actually then bring the link between the actual exhibition then to real life. So we thought it'd be an excellent opportunity to invite a number of people to the COMAU Innovation Centre, where we've got a large number of, let's say it's a working innovation centre, it's an R&D centre, it's where we test, develop, modify and research different processes and products. And the people can actually see, live work and be able to touch and feel and see that automation and manufacturing and engineering, what it actually really like in the real life. And we're really pleased that we're going to have a couple of tours there on Monday. We've had in the last year I think about 900 people actually visited the Innovation Centre, from Nigel, from Jay, Paul. We've had various other dignitaries and OEMs and academia and schools, and it's been a real working environment because it's a live centre. It's not just a showcase. There is showcase there as well, but there's live work going on, and people can actually see and interact with the different technologies.
Paul, I go back. I had the opportunity to visit the Innovation Center last week, and it's a wonderful environment. And I think there's a significant misconception by the young generation as to what factories look like today. And if you go here and you recognize, you look at the automation, you look at the excitement of what's going on, and the technology that's applied, this is one way. We have to expose the younger generation to the new technologies that are being developed. Otherwise, this misconception will continue. We'll never address the issue of the missing middle of attracting people to see that this is a very exciting place to go. You go into a state-of-the-art body shop today where they're making the car body. You can barely see people. It is all automation, running robots, talking to other robots, putting parts together. The old perspective of somebody picking up a part and putting it on an assembly or something is gone. That is just not there today. So it really is a high-tech environment, and the Innovation Center is a wonderful place to see exactly what this looks like.
Maybe you'll remember, somebody just did a study. I don't have it in front of me. I told my morning show listeners about it during the week, about innovation centers around the country. And the state of Michigan ranks very high up there. And it's because they're finally recognizing that automotive has a lot of innovation in it. They did kind of take it for granted. So we do have it all happening in a very big way. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think that's a great point that you're raising, Paul. I think that the recent news here in Michigan is that as a collaboration between industry, academia, and the state government, we were able to reach out to the federal government and attract the ALMI Institute, which is the American Lightweight Metallic Materials Innovation Institute, which is currently being set up in headquartered in the state of Michigan. What a fabulous opportunity for us. I can tell you that from the automotive office, we are actively talking on a daily basis with industry and academia, and going to Washington DC to the federal government, and there will be more of these things over the coming years.
Well, you're doing it on a global basis as well, Nigel. That's, I think, extremely important.
Yeah, thank you for that, and we agree. And there's many reasons for that global outreach, which is actually now becoming quite extensive. Following on the theme that we're discussing at the moment regarding talent. Very interesting point here in the state of Michigan. 30% of the overseas students at universities in Michigan are Chinese.
We have a question coming in, and by the way, that's easy enough to do. If you have a question, just let us know right here online on this webcast that you're watching on bigmevent.com. And a question comes from Tom. Tom is asking the three of you what the top three trends in advanced manufacturing might be, and maybe you will all have three of the same, or maybe we'll have 9.
Let me start with that. I refer, we're in Michigan, and we've often thought of the big three as Ford, GM, and Chrysler, at least historically. But today, the big three is technology. And I look at the technology big three today as being lightweight materials. And we can talk a lot about materials because of as you change materials, you go from steel to aluminum, or you go from aluminum to a composite. This affects the entire supply chain in the industry. It affects how you engineer the part, how you design the part, how you tool for the part, how you assemble the part. It affects all of the supply chain. So changing materials is systemic and very significant. And we need to make our cars lighter and safer and more crash-worthy. So that's materials. The second technology that people are a little bit more knowledgeable of because it's been so much more visible is powertrain. We are all used to the gasoline engine. We're starting to get used to downsized gasoline engines with direct injection, with 8-9-speed transmissions, with CVTs, and turbocharged, and so on. So these engines have gone through a significant change over the last few years. And then we're hearing an awful lot today about hybrids and fuel cells and battery electric vehicles and so on. So all this powertrain technology is significant and covers another whole dimension of research. And then third area, which is also very exciting, we hear about the Google car. This is the connected vehicle, cars that talk to other cars as they pass each other in the night, exchanging information about what the road is ahead of you and things like this. Cars talking to the internet. Cars telling you that there's congestion up ahead, you got to reroute your route, and so on and so forth. The intelligence around the automobile is an incredible thing. So powertrain, lightweighting materials, and connectivity are the big three technology developments that is really driving the innovation in our product innovation in our industry today.
Martin, those your three, or do you have three more?
Similar. Lightweight materials and advanced materials is one key area, because that's been driven from a global basis in terms of CO2 emissions. So that's as Jay says, that's putting the industry into new materials, new processes, new products, and that's very exciting in terms of research and development to meet the CAFE standards for 2025 and beyond. Second one, I'd say, is the virtual world in terms of virtual factory, the 3D representation and simulation, etc., of the complete process in a let's say virtual environment that's bringing all the industry together to make it let's say a clearer picture prior to manufacture. And the other one in terms of the new technologies like hybrid and electric vehicles. For the future, there's a number of manufacturers currently getting a lot of attention with new drivetrains and new let's say energy efficient vehicles, and that also in itself is driving industry. And I think one other one is in terms of the trend being to make manufacturing and automation and that more interesting and exciting to attract. That's a trend. I see a real big push in the last period of time to attract the people into the industry.
And Nigel, your unique position of kind of being on the outside looking in.
Right. Well, of course, I come from the industry, so I guess I got a foot in both camps.
Right.
So maybe I've got I would certainly agree with everything that's been said. What I do is maybe put a subtly different perspective on this, which is that firstly we talk about manufacturing convergence, the big M, and manufacturing convergence. Actually, what we see is a trend for manufacturing to be put together with product design, and so that the product designers and the advanced manufacturers are working together hand in hand in the same place. And there's a term for that, which is reshoring. We're seeing a lot of that happening in the state of Michigan, where manufacturing is actually being brought back into Michigan, which is a great thing. Secondly, there's some environmental challenges. Manufacturing is not dull, dirty and dangerous anymore.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. It's super clean. If you walk into the Sterling Heights assembly plant, which has recently had $1 billion investment by Chrysler Fiat in it, you can eat your sandwiches off the floor. I'm sure that OSHA won't want you to eat your sandwiches off the floor, but it's super clean, super sexy. It's full of robots, high technology, software, mechatronics, everything. And then lastly, I think the colleagues here talk about the talent. It's the place to be. You can earn a fantastic living in advanced manufacturing, a fantastic living. You'll be absolutely at the top end of the middle class in the USA if you're working in manufacturing, and you can have your whole career in that.
And even if you have lots of money, it's still fun to get free stuff. So on the website you're on right now, enter promo code BIGMWJR. Enter the promo code BIGMWJR online right now for free registration to the exhibits, including Innovation Factories, Tuesday's keynote, M-Exchange presentations, and the networking reception on Wednesday. This promo code is valid for 24 hours only. We want to see you at the Big M Manufacturing Convergence events, BigMEvent.com, June 9th through the 12th, 2014 at Cobo Center. Quick note on smart factories. Dr. J. Barron, what exactly does that mean?
Well, that's one of the shuns that I mentioned earlier, information. And factories, much more now than they ever have been, there's localized decision-making on the factory floor. There's distributed computers and PLCs, programmable logic controllers, and logic software and everything, so that these factories are making decisions based on things that occur. So that's at the floor level, so that parts get rerouted, or a machine goes down, and if it can't fix itself, it turns on a light, and an operator will show up from someplace, and so on. So that's the factory basically running itself, calling for help when it needs help. So that's at the operational level. The other level, of course, is the information system that gets information into the factory. We have cloud-based information systems so that we can monitor the factory from afar through the internet, if you wish. So there's a lot of the whole information architecture around these factories is really becoming very transparent and, like I said, localized on the floor, so that the factories, for the most part, run themselves.
And Martin, COMAU's connection with President Obama's Innovation Institute as a member of the project team?
Yeah, as Nigel mentioned earlier, with the MEDC and University of Michigan, etc., we had the pleasure and the honour to be engaged in that particular program. We started the competition after President Obama's State of the Nation last year with a small consortium that then grew in size, and we were, let's say, fortunate enough, which was a fantastic achievement for Southeast Michigan, to be awarded that Innovation Centre here, and a number of us were lucky enough to go up to the White House and meet President Obama, which personally was a fantastic day, etc. But
Sure.
More importantly, I think it really focused the attention on Michigan, Southeast Michigan, and the government's commitment to the future, and the fact that here there's going to be about $150 million invested in the area, guaranteeing, let's say, thousands of jobs for the future, and that's a real stamp in terms of manufacturing here in Detroit.
Just to add to that, Paul, is what the president is trying to do is develop a collaborative system for R&D. And this Almy Center is just one example of that. He envisions many more to come. In fact, there's others in the process right now of various stages of development and design. One of the with all this technology that's being developed in the industry right now, and again, Michigan being right here in the middle of it, this is a wonderful opportunity to engage with the entire supply base, not just R&D and academia, but a lot of this technology is coming out of the tier 1s, the tier 2 suppliers. Our tool and die base here is phenomenal in Michigan, second to none in the world in terms of its density. A lot of innovation comes through the supply chain, and these kinds of collaborative centers that Martin's talking about are designed to develop the communication channels and collaboration throughout the supply chain like that.
And Nigel, last word. We have about 25 seconds for you to say it. Innovation in manufacturing, this whole Big M event, so good for the state of Michigan.
Yeah, it's wonderful for the state of Michigan, and I think that what I would say is that we all here in the state of Michigan need to open our eyes and see what we've got here. We've got the crown jewels of the automotive industry. The modern motor car is arguably the most complex consumer product in the world. It's here, right here in Michigan,
right
and
here
we
in
need
Michigan.
to shout out about it.
For more information on the Big M event happening June 9th through the 12th at Cobo Center, log on to BigMEvent.com. Exhibitors, panel discussions, the M-Exchange, plant tours, and more available and updated daily. And be sure to join us again for the next webcast, May 21st at 9:30 in the morning. We'll discuss the Big M blueprint, shaping the future of manufacturing. Thank you, Nigel Francis, Martin Kinsella, Dr. J. Barron. And go on out, make it a great rest of the day. Regards, Paul W. Smith.